Well, hey everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on episode 25 of Word of Honor, and the last few episodes have been really good. Last few episodes have been great. We have had Zhou Zishu confessing his feelings. We've had Ye Bai sporting a brand new white streak looking bitchin'. We've got Wen KeXing getting vulnerable. We have Gu Xiang and Cao WeiNing singing Can You Feel the Love Tonight? It's just been a great time. And meanwhile, in the shadows, Daddy Xing is planning on messing all of this up. So, great. We don't have any added lines or changed lines in episode 25. I was told by the moderator, be happy, that we're not going to get a changed line until later on in episode 28, and we're not going to have a deleted scene. And I was like, ooh, until episode 27. So we still got a couple weeks towards that. That'll all happen in August, I guess. But in the meantime, we've got a couple comments that I want to talk about with you all before we dive into this week's episode. Hobbity66 said for episode 22, if I remember the behind-the-scenes stuff correctly, Gongjun added the I'm sorry line in episode 22. It wasn't in the script. Somehow that makes his performance even more perfect. I always think of there's a couple actors that do ad-lib lines and they work so well. One of my favorites is in the show Parks and Recreation, where there's a computer getting broken down and Chris Pratt's character, he just ad-libbed. He's like, it says that your computer's suffering from connectivity error. I was like, yes. So anytime an actor can be in character and add the perfect line in and they keep it, mwah. So that's awesome to know. So thank you, Hobbity. That's really cool to know that he added that line in. Gongjun's just so damn good. Gongjun and Zhou Zishu's actor, they're just amazing. Their expressions, their chemistry, the yearning on their faces, it's just like... So... Pancake also has another comment that they shared saying, knowing Wen KeXing got into the Ghost Valley at such a young age makes everything about how he thinks and acts makes so much more sense. Agreed. It also makes the story that he told Chengling about the honey hurt even more. He treasures that sweet moment with Zhou Zishu so much because it's the only relief he had before being thrown into hell, basically. I don't think I talked about it in episode 23 in that discussion, but yeah, I forgot about that conversation. That is the honey moment. The moment that he had with Zhou Zishu as kids is what he holds on to. That's just amazing. So, Pancake also says that the show doesn't say it outright, but we kind of know Wen KeXing's age now at this point. Gu Xiang said he joined the Ghost Valley around 8 or 9 years old, and Zhou Zishu says it's been 20 years since his master saved Wen KeXing's family. So, Wen KeXing is about 28 or 29. Good to know. I like a good BL that's got characters that are in their late 20s. It feels more relatable. And I like that. It also adds a lot of age difference between them and Chengling, so that's good to know too. It makes it, theoretically, no, not possible they're actually Chengling's dads, but y'all know what I mean. So, speaking of Chengling, we'll talk about him in a second. Pancake says Wen KeXing has trouble showing his vulnerable side to the one he loves. With Zhou Zishu, he has no problem showing physical attraction, but he freezes up whenever Zhou Zishu returns those feelings in a way that asks him to open up, which is really nice because it seems like Zhou Zishu, when he cries and gets vulnerable, it comes pretty naturally to Zhou Zishu because he's actually an emotional person. And Wen KeXing's emotional too, but he just has a lot of trouble opening up and breaking down those barriers. And then Zhou Zishu, I imagine, went in the kitchen to check on the cooking, saw Cao WeiNing already doing the job, and just walked away. They brought up a good point by saying that Zhou Zishu and Chengling come from rich families. They don't cook, which, for the record, you don't have to come from a rich background and not know how to cook. Girls, case in point. Zhou Zishu worked as an assassin, but for a prince and the royal court, I doubt he ever had to worry about that stuff. Gu Xiang literally scolded them for not knowing how to grill a fish at the start of the show. Yeah, and so, you have Zhou Zishu, who technically was higher up in his clan, and then Chengling was practically a prince. So it's like, what we do. The only people we've seen cook are Gu Xiang, Wen KeXing, the fish soup when they were on the road trip with Ye Bai, and now Cao WeiNing. Nice. Cao WeiNing is a good example of a young man that he just knows how to do things right. I love Cao WeiNing. He's great. So yeah, That's what we got. This episode is a little bit longer than normal, and I'm pretty excited about that. It's 45 minutes long, so I'm like, yes. I'm curious to see what we get with that 45 minutes, so this is going to be a lot of fun. But y'all, this has been an amazing series. I'm super excited to see what we get this week with this episode. Things are starting to heat up, so let's just dive in and see what we get. So we are going to start Word of Honor at 1 minute and 48 seconds. And we are going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. All right. Brief wind, light clouds. Aww. I got a proper bed now. Not sleeping on the floor. Oh. Are you going to go visit Wen KeXing through the screen door? Or are you just waking up? For some reason, this score reminds me a little bit of Casper. A little bit. Which is James Horner. A little bit. Slightly. It's a nice room. Oh. Oh ho ho ho. Ready in his Sunday best. Okay, yeah, they're still at the manor. At the Four Seasons. We just updated the room. Aww. I wondered if they had left yet, but they had not. Ooh, interesting. But we got business to do. Aww. Oh, you two holding that little pot together. He could go in and swoop in and kiss him right now. Since we can't make out on TV, we'll do this instead. I like these little carafes. Just two bros drinking their sake, their wine. What are we doing? Ooh. What is this? Oh, gotta get our nuts. I mean, that is true. Is this an ad? Is this an ad? I'll take it. I'll take this product placement. Aw. No one will eat Wen KeXing's nuts. And yes, pun is intended. Oh. 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 Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. That is confirming that he knew then. How'd you know my name? He's like, let me get another drink and some more nuts. Okay. So what happened? Oh. Jin one pot. Oh my god. The dog. Aw. 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 That damn dog! That cute puppy that's the cutest thing on earth! Look at it! Aw. Aw. That damn dog! Oh. Oh, that's a very dark name, actually. Okay. Uh-huh. And then, yes, man, all tied all back together. Yes. Yes, so he knew then. So he knew then. So he knew then. So he's just known this whole time and... Ah. Oh, okay. So he really doesn't have any other family. Okay. A lonely wanderer with no roots. Oh. 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 These two. Lonely wanderer. Faraway wanderer, right? Roll credits. Oh, while holding your hand. That's adorable. Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay. Okay. There we go. There we go. You can come back whenever you like. That's such a change up. That's such a change up. Yes. He's not going to make him stay there. He's like, you can come visit me and stay with me whenever you want. Oh. You've grown so much, Zhou Zishu. I love you for this. This is amazing. Love. Meanwhile, would you take a shit or something? Oh. Oh. Ho ho. They might have beat Shin Shin to them. That's interesting. Yes, in our inconspicuous old people disguise. I mean, the numbers check out. I love it. Them just peeking out. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Then what do we do? She's like, well, my idea is to kill them, but you don't like that idea. So now what do we do? Oh. I mean, he's trying to be, well, She's like, I'm joking, kidding, kidding. Oh. Why is he such a chivalrous knight? But she doesn't think that she's good. Okay. 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 Aw. Oh, that little nod, like, okay, I'm gonna go. She's like, damn it. I mean, yeah, but. Oh, girl, girl. Oh, and there's Hua. Okay. There's Huang, yeah. She's like, I gotta get ready for battle. Oh, interesting. Ooh. She's like, no, but now I do. Well, save is a strong word. Ah. Oh my god, what? Why are we resorting to that language, sir? We lost limbs for this. She's like, don't tell us we lost limbs for nothing. Oh. Oh my god. What about Shinshin? Ah. Stinky girl. Don't you talk shit about her. Man, damn. Damn. That look. She's like, bitch. That is such a disgusting look. Well. Oh, she is pissed. Ooh. So WEINING! Like, oh, is Sao WeiNing gonna hear something that he shouldn't? Oh. Ooh. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Hmm. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, shit. My dude. My dude. Lie! Say they're there! Don't say you're alone! Kill the two of them! Oh my god! I guess he's down to kill them, so that wouldn't have mattered if Gu Xiang wanted to. No, actually. He's like, I'm kind of just like a white knight. Oh. Okay, well. I love Xiao WeiNing's eyes. I will never get over that. Damn, are the beggar gang there? Are they all there? Oh, hell yeah! Yeah! Oh, shit! He's like, let's go! So her acupuncture points were not blocked. She is fine. We are good. Wow, that was incredibly easy to get her out of there. Oh no, of course not! Damn it! Damn it! Spoke too soon! Really? Already? Oh. Oh. Oh, shit, no! Ah, Xiao WeiNing! Oh no, bitch! Oh my god, girl. Is she gonna jump in? Oh, Shin! There we go! Oh, he's got the one hair astray. Oh, and there's Gu Xiang. She's like, I found him instead. Son of a bitch. Oh my god. Shin! Oh. She's like, you just sit here. I'm gonna go kill these people, and then I'll come back. Is that cool? Yay, he's bleeding! Girl, I'd get back. Oh, at least she didn't just abandon him. Oh, damn. She's like, I'd feel bad for you if you didn't kidnap me against my will and talk shit about my dad. I'm just waiting for Gu Xiang to like shiver in the kidney from behind. Oh. Hmm. He's like, I may have killed him. Yikes. She is acting her heart out, and I love it. Shin Shin with his little hairs. I can't. I just want Gu Xiang to. She's like, can you have mercy on him? He's like, they kind of treat you terribly, girl. Were they also being used? He's like, really, girl, you sure? You sure you ain't Stockholm syndromed into this? She also didn't let you go. That is true. And then Gu Xiang's gonna be like, I'm not with the Five Lakes Alliance. I like the staffs that like form an X there. Okay. She's like, what? I don't want to back out of the martial arts world. Damn. Shin Shin's like, I really want to do this, girl, but I mean, fine. Oh. Good on you, Shin Shin. That's generous. Oh, Shin Shin. Well, did they not just say they were leaving behind the martial arts world? You're too nice, XiaoLian. You're too nice. She is like nice beyond her word, beyond her years. Like seriously. Girl. Girl. Aw. He's just passed out. Yes. She's like, yeah, I found him on the side of the road. You know, looking like a vagrant. Ooh. He's like, nah, I'm good. Oh, he knows. Because I bet her sign was posted. Oh. 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 And he knows she's a ghost. Oh. She's like, that's actually real. Yeah. Uh-huh. She's like, I'm getting married to him, bitch. Yeah, tell him! Tell him! Ah! Oh! Shin's like, him? Oh, girl! Oh, girl! Is she? Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, thank God. Okay. Did he hear the whole time, though? Oh, no, no. Oh. 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 Did he hear or did he not hear? Oh. Oh, that was a good scene. That was a good scene. You can't climb on them, Chengling. They don't command the ship. Oh. 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 Chengling is really adamant about doing that. Aw. Well, let's not talk about that. That's a sore subject. Hmm. Aw. Oh. 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 Hmm. Hmm. He's like, you're getting out of work and training, but fine, we'll go. Oh, wow. I expected it to have more around it. Interesting. Is that him and his wife? I expected it to be like, oh, no, it's his son. Okay. Oh. 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 It's a little hard. Wish you would have translated a little easier. Ah. Oh. Oh, and he wouldn't want them to see. He wouldn't want them to see what he is. Hmm. He's like, then I'll just sit here in silence and speak to them and you won't get to hear what I'm saying. Oh. 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 He's like, but I have a lot to tell them. He's gonna be like Forrest Gump coming back to that damn grave every time to talk to him. Oh. How dare you whisper that? Oh. Show, you gonna make this sad. You're gonna make this really sad, aren't you? Aren't you? Aren't you? He's like, I wouldn't want you to see. Oh. He's like, I'm gonna drink the rest of it. Like his liquid courage. Ooh. Ooh. Mm. Ooh, yeah. Oh. Oh, that's the candle. I thought it was Zhou Zishu coming up. Oh. Wow. Oh. 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 Mm. Gong Jun can do a damn monologue, y'all. He can. Ugh. Ooh, it wasn't blood, it was hatred. Ugh. 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 Ooh. Mmm. Yeah. Ooh. 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 Uh-huh. Oh. Oh. Damn, Wen KeXing. Oh. Why give me a path back through Zhou Zishu? Oh! I don't even need this gold tin anymore. Oh. 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 Oh my gosh, Wen KeXing, damn. Okay, okay. Damn. Honey buns for two? Him passed out is actually amazing. Oh my god, she's like, I guess I'll just eat them all myself. Oh. Ah, Shin Shin took off with her. Oh. She has her little rope. Oh. Oh. It's a pretty good lie. Oh. Hmm. Oh. I'm easily agitated. Oh. Oh. Don't be giving him a kink, girl. Oh. Oh. Oh! 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 Hmm. That has nothing to do with you. Hmm. She's like, I can pretty much take care of myself, but yeah, you do that. Oh. Hmm. Ooh, now his was one of the signs. Is he gonna say that and then they're gonna be like, and they're gonna find out anyway? Oh. 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 That's so cute. They're so cute. They're so precious. Oh. Oh, but he said Wen KeXing and Shin. If Shin knows that Wen KeXing is the ghost chief, then everybody knows. Oh boy. So this episode was adorable. This episode was like all about the two main couples, like forging those bonds. I at this point, I'm not worried about Wen KeXing or Cao WeiNing leaving. I'm not worried about Zhou Zishu or Cao WeiNing leaving Wen KeXing or Gu Xiang. Not worried about that at all. What I'm worried about is that Cao WeiNing, is going to be totally fine, and Gu Xiang's going to be the one that's like, how you wouldn't want to be with somebody like me, and Cao WeiNing's like, but I'm fine with it. Like, I'm ready for that to happen. But I think that Gu Xiang is going to react, a lot more extreme if it's found out who she is or when she confesses. I think she's going to have the reaction that she doesn't think she's good enough. And then you have Wen KeXing, who I think is very worried about Zhou Zishu finding out who he is. But we know from this episode and from many others prior, Zhou Zishu's going to be fine because he kind of already suspects that something's up. He knows Wen KeXing was in the Ghost Valley. He may not know he was the chief, but he knows he was in the Ghost Valley. So it's like, no. But a lot of this episode was like, this was like tying up some loose threads. The episode is really what this was. So let's get into this because we've got we think that it was Zhao Jing that poisoned Rongzhan, so we think that. And then we have the whole thing about Wen KeXing's parents. They were killed for the key, which we don't know exactly. We believe that that's it at Mount Tsinghua, but we don't know for sure. We're thinking it is though. And then we have the Rong Chengqing. He's like the maker of the swords, and somehow about the key and everything, the Ghost Valley. It's already on there. Never mind. But we haven't heard from him lately. But we do know the Dragon Pool cabinet, Long Chu and Long Zhao. They're pretty much gone. We can erase them off of this. The Dragon Pool cabinet is now been passed to Chengling. So we can have him on there. Yeah. Now, over here, Ye Bai is off doing his own thing. He's off doing his own investigations. Meanwhile, at the Four Seasons, we have Chengling, we have Zhou Zishu, and we have Wen KeXing. Now, the Window of Heaven and Prince Jin are still like, they're off the grid at the moment. We don't know where they are. And we know the Xiaoxing and the Scorpions are, the changing ghost is still with them. The happy ghost, he's alive as far as we know. The lustful ghost is gone. Xin now, the old couple is pretty much out of the picture. They were let go. I'm presuming that they were written out of the story at this point. And now XiaoLian is back with Xin. Now, here's the thing. Does Xin know that Daddy Jing is corrupt and no good? Because Gu Xiang didn't seem to tell him that, so I'm going to be curious to know where we go with that. If he takes her back to Xiaoxing and he's like, oh, what? Oh, you're here. Oh, you got her. Oh, interesting. That's going to be interesting to see what happens. And then the Hua Hong, apparently he's dead. Apparently the old couple off-screen killed Huang He. Now, whether that's the case or not, and he doesn't show back up and no body, no death, I don't know. But supposedly they're gone. And then we have, Cao WeiNing is over here with Gu Xiang. And they're off on like an engagement, and that marker's about dried up. So, what can we do? So we'll go back if we need to use the marker. We'll check that out and see what we do with that. But yeah, so I was a little bit at the beginning kind of confused because for a second I thought that they had all packed up and I'm ready for them to go get revenge on Daddy Jing. This episode was adorable. I'm not slighting this episode at all because it was super cute and I enjoyed it. But I'm ready for them to go whoop up on Daddy Jing. I'm ready for this revenge to take effect, essentially. And we're not quite ready for that yet. But for a hot second, I thought maybe they had moved to another venue because the sleeping arrangements got a lot more elaborate. We're not sleeping on the floor anymore. I guess that's a show of a passage of time in that a few days might have passed and they got things all fit back together to where they can like have an actual bedroom, which I'm sad. I want more of them sleeping next to each other while Chengling's off in the distance. But I do like that they at least get a better bed and Zhou Zishu wakes up, goes outside to see Wen KeXing already in his clothes ready to go. And it's raining outside. They have this banter. It's very sweet. I like it. The idea that he's like, it'd be nice if we could live at the Four Seasons for the rest of our lives. And Zhou Zishu's like, well, why not? The growth of Zhou Zishu in the scene where he explains what he wants to do is fantastic. Is so good. Because up until now, when KeXing had been like, oh, well, once we go to the Four Seasons, you've resigned yourself to die and you've just left me your disciple and you think I'm just going to take care of this place in your memory. And it's easy to understand why Wen KeXing would be upset by that. But now Zhou Zishu's like, well, what if we did just stay? Didn't take long for him to change his mind. And Wen KeXing's like, what? So we're going to get to that. But he's like, I love when they both grab the basket and it's like a nice little way for the censors to be like, oh, you can't hold hands, but I'm going to have you hold this basket together. And it's like, okay, cool. There were so many moments in this episode where I was like, I wanted to be Sebastian the crab from The Little Mermaid and be like, kiss the girl. Like, I just wanted to be, I was just like, sha-la-la-la-la-la, don't be shy. Like, I need an edit. I need someone to go on Twitter or TikTok or something and find me an edit of Kiss the Girl playing while these two are like dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Although that edit can't have footage from beyond episode 25, so that might be, the problem area. But I definitely want to see an edit or something, an edit of an edit so I could see this because there were so many like could kiss moments between the two of them and even Cao WeiNing and Gu Xiang, and I was like, are we going to get some lip locking on screen? Of course we wouldn't with two men because China doesn't believe in all alternative sexualities. Ah! But, you know, what can we do? So I like this little warming pot for the wine, the sake, whatever they're drinking. That's ingenious. That's ingenious. It's like a little microwave, essentially. I'm all for that. I do like the little craft. So when I go to, it's a Japanese restaurant, not Chinese, but the cups are the same. It's a little carafe with like plum sake in it. I don't really like sake. I'm not a big wine drinker in general. I know I used to have Wine Chan on the channel a lot. It would give me a headache like the next day, but it would taste good in the moment. But I was like, not worth the headache. I don't like dry wines. I don't like dry wines at all. I like sweet. I'm American. I have a horrible sweet tooth. So I like plum sake. That's like the only sake I'll drink, and it has to be warmed up. Has to be like hot. Hot plum sake is delicious, and I'll drink gallons of it. But I've had like regular sake before, and I've had cold sake. No. So their little device of heating up the sake is amazing. I'm like all for that. Now, granted, was part of this first like scene where he's like, hold on, I'll be right back, and Zhou Zishu's like, how mysterious. Was this a nut ad? I feel like we haven't had one in a while. But I was like, was this a nut advertisement? Because there was like craisins. There were craisins and cashews. I'll be honest, it worked. I wanted some nuts after watching this episode. So I don't have any on hand, but it made me want to go out and buy some. I was like, dang, I'd really like a mixed nut rice, especially with those craisins in it. I love me a craisin. So I was like, dang, this is just, and it even like said the brand and everything. I was like, my dude. Now, Wen KeXing does give Spout some good wisdom. Do not drink on an empty stomach. Not good. Not good for your health. Right? But dang. Yeah, Wolong's popular specialty. I really think these are like the cornettos of this series. I'm fine with it. But I also love that no one in this series will eat Wen KeXing's nuts. Come on, Zhou Zishu. Why can't you put Wen KeXing's nuts in your mouth? Well, you got a problem with it? The description, like the transcript is that Zhou Zishu did not want to put Wen KeXing's nuts in his mouth. Cannot. I do like Zhou Zishu saying that basically Wen KeXing is a suitable salesman, and I'm like, you're not wrong. Not at all. So yeah, so they basically just discuss what to do, and he's like, well, how have you been sleeping if you've had all this trouble? And he's like, I found the drunk life dream death originally in the villa, and that's what I've been using. And so then we go back, connecting the dots. We go back to the beginning, like episode 5 or 6, where he was like, you called out Zhou Zishu for the first time when you were with the drug men. What's up with that? And it's nice to know that, it is good to know that ever since then, Zhou Zishu has been wondering how he knew him and how he knew his identity and if he was somebody from his past. So I love that we get confirmation that Zhou Zishu has basically been Bruce Wayne in the background trying to be Batman and figure all this out. And so when KeXing kind of tells him, he's like, back then, he's like, when that happened, I was dreaming of being with my family in one pot. And the sad thing is that he's like, when KeXing's like, one pot, the little dog that used to follow you all the time. And Zhou Zishu's like, oh, I don't remember one pot. They had a little bit of recap in this episode, which I could see some people being kind of frustrated with. Like, do you show footage you've already shown before and spend time on it and whatever? I'll accept it this time because it's showing pictures of that damn dog. That dog is the cutest little puppy. It's just sitting there going like this. That puppy's freaking adorable, and I want it. Although, this series had a kind of dark turn with the stuff about the dog, because as the dog's like walking down the roads, and so she's like, I kept it with me. Didn't Great Warrior Chin say he was going to cook it in a pot of delicious meat? And that's why they called him One Pot. And that's how he got his name. That's why my parents decided to name him that. I forget that in some Asian countries they do eat dogs. I forget that. And I know when my friend visited South Korea, they have like a breed of dog that they eat specifically, and they just raise it for meat. That's literally what they do. Cause he was like, I can't eat it. He's like, I can't eat dog. It's just not gonna, it's kind of like horses. I know in our country, we do not eat horse meat. It's like, and I don't get it, honestly. I have nothing against the slaughtering of horses. It's meat is meat. But it's just, it's a cultural mindset that people, at least in my area, do not eat horse. And it's not really something you ever see on the menu. But I know other countries, they do eat horses. And so there's that. And then I know in some countries, they eat dogs, specifically like a breed of mutt dog that they raise for meat. And then they have other dogs that are domesticated as pets. So there's a difference there. So it was just really dark humor that they were like talking about eating the dog. And I was like, oh no! I could not eat a dog. No, but I also can't eat like a turtle or a rabbit either. So it's not really, it's just certain animals. I'm like, no, the texture and all that just does not sound appealing. But anyway, I didn't know if Zhou Zishu was sad because he didn't remember the dog. And that's kind of like, memory is a funny thing where some things we remember and we think are very critical to our childhood. Other people we grew up with, like, if I'm around people that I went to school with, I could say, oh my God, do you remember this from back then? Wasn't that funny? And they might be like, oh, I don't remember that at all. So I don't know if this is one of those moments where Zhou Zishu just doesn't remember the dog. And he's realizing that this memory that's pretty critical to Wen KeXing and crucial to his happiness is something that Zhou Zishu didn't share. Or if it's to do with the nails and the nails are starting to affect his memories. I don't know. If the nails affect his memories, I'm a little bit worried and sad about that. I don't know. He's like, you have a deep connection with Four Seasons Mountain Villa, but I never thought that you'd remember that. And so he's like, well, it's not just that. It's that I knew you had the passing cloud steps and I wanted to make sure that it was you. And we go back to the beginning there. And he's like, and when I saw your sword, I knew it was you then. Uh-huh. And so they just decide to drink instead. And then he's like, what about the name Wen KeXing? I like that Zhou Zishu, his approach now that he's gotten more familiar with Wen KeXing and they feel more comfortable around each other, his move is like, he's like holding out the little Wolong nuts in his hand to Wen KeXing like a baby deer. And he's like, do you want to tell me your backstory now? And it works. It's highly effective because he asked about the name Wen KeXing. And we find out from Wen KeXing that his dad was an orphan and Wen was originally his name. And when they entered the Healer Valley, they took on the Jin name from the leader. But it makes more sense now why he denied that name, because the leader that they borrowed the name from kicked them out. So he was like, why would I keep that name? Those bitches kicked us out and caused my parents' death. So yeah, ditch that name, go back to Wen. And then he talks about his dad was an orphan. He didn't have any family. And so then KeXing, we find out, means lonely traveler, which faraway wanderers, roll credits. And then I like that Zhou Zishu said, I'm kind of similar to you in the sense that you thought you were going to travel all alone. I thought I was going to do the same. But now look at us. Here we are in this manner and we're rebuilding it. We want to be together. He shows his growth on complete display in this moment, though. He's like, we're all back. And then they cheers, lonely wanderer, a traveler with no roots. I love that. I love that, not only does it tie to the name of the story, but it connects them together as Zhou Zishu is trying to forget the parts of his past that he doesn't want to reminisce on and tries to start anew. And Wen KeXing is literally doing the same, like, that's so good. But for Wen KeXing, and to hear Zhou Zishu say, Wen KeXing follows that up with saying, enjoying the passing clouds while holding your hand. Glad to know that the censors are still on their cruise. I love that. And he doesn't deny it. They just... So then afterwards, he says, I plan to keep living here. This is such growth for Zhou Zishu, because Zhou Zishu, if y'all recall back, like 6 episodes ago, he's like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna leave you my disciple, give you my house, let you set up. You can have my life insurance, and I'm just gonna pass away. And Wen KeXing was like, no, I don't want that. Now, with Wen KeXing's encouragement, he's like, I'm gonna keep living here. He's like, as long as Elder Ye can heal my illness, Chengling and I will live here for the rest of our lives. And Wen KeXing smiling at that, I cannot take Gong Jun and Gong Jun's acting ability. It is insane. He is I mean, I love Wen KeXing, don't you get me wrong. I love Wen KeXing and his actors so much. But Gong Jun is like my favorite. Every time I look at him, I just want to give him a hug. It's so good. And the thing is, Zhou Zishu before was like, well, you need to stay. And sorry, I have like an itch on my back. He's like, before he said, you need to stay. You need to take care of Chengling. You need to manage these affairs. And it did feel very much like pushing a lot on Wen KeXing. But now that he knows Wen KeXing's backstory to an extent, he isn't telling him to stay. He says, you can come back whenever you like. Because he says that, and Wen KeXing is just kind of like thrown off by that at first. But I think Zhou Zishu's meaning behind it is he's like, I don't want to tell you you have to stay. He's like, I know you got something going on with this Ghost Valley, and you're going to want to take care of that. And you're going to want to have it all taken care of. But I'm telling you, you are welcome here anytime. If you want to come here, you can do it whenever you want. If you need a break from whatever you're doing with the Ghost Valley, you come back here and take care of it here. And I won't force you to stay, but this door is open for you always. And like the way he smiles, the way he kind of like, he's shocked at first, then kind of smiles. And the way Zhou Zishu says it, he's like, is that okay? He's like, are you all right with me saying this, bro? Because I just want to let you know. Oh, I love it. He's like, although wandering the unfamiliar world brings joy, nothing is better than returning home. For Zhou Zishu to wax poetry right back to philanthropist Wen. Oh my God. Oh my God. Amazing. So good. He's like, I'll be here waiting for you. I love it. I love it so much. And Wen KeXing's like, well, I really just want to stay here with you and, get down to business all day, but I guess I do need to take care of things. I love that shot of Wen KeXing in the light with the firelight from the candle, and then you cut to like the cool moonlight on Zhou Zishu. Chef's kiss, cinema. Mwah, love it. Love it so much. I'm like, I want these two to get down to business. It's not going to happen in this series. In that book, I want to see some getting down to business. It probably won't happen, but a girl can dream, right? A girl can dream. I haven't been able to read any fanfics of this series. By the way, for the last 25 weeks, I've been wanting to... I'm sorry. I have to confess. It has been driving me crazy because there's some series that I've like finished now on the channel, and there's been some series that I've gotten like far enough where I can look up some fan fiction. There's no spoilers, but I can't look up any fan fiction on this series because it will immediately spoil it. So I've been going 25 weeks without fan fiction on this series, and I'm not going to be able to read fan fiction until I read the novel, which is going to be after this. So it's been a hard time. Romania's had a hard time. Speaking of hard times, now we go over to Gu Xiang and Cao WeiNing, who just pops up fresh as a daisy out of the grass. And he says that he thinks he saw Tao Hong and Liv Liu and the elders that attacked us and kidnapped XiaoLian. And I think Gu Xiang knew who it was. I think she was just like, oh shit, this was not in the playbook or the plan book, because now Gu Xiang is like acting without Wen KeXing. She's like, what do we do? Those two are really strong. They also hurt Cao WeiNing a lot last time. So what happens? And now I love Cao WeiNing. I like the both of them just popping out of the bushes. That was really cute. I love Cao WeiNing. He is such a white knight. He is like on his white knight horse, ready to go into battle. He's chivalrous. He's like, loyalty before romance. He basically was like bros before hoes to Gu Xiang, but in the most romantic way possible. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right, Cao WeiNing. When you say it like that. But Gu Xiang's like, what do we do? And he's like, that has to be XiaoLian. And he's like, we should go get her. Now, Gu Xiang at this point is worried about one particular thing. She is worried that, I mean, obviously she would like to get XiaoLian because Wen KeXing has talked about bringing her back to Chengling and all them. I'm sure she wants to get her for that reason. Her biggest concern at this point, and the reason why they're trying to get to the Gentle Wind sect as soon as possible so she can try to mitigate any further disaster, is because at this point, she's afraid from the last episode that her face is on a wanted poster as, you know, Amethyst Fiend Gu Xiang. And she's like, shit, I'm going to be on a wanted poster. And she probably thinks that this older couple know she's a ghost. And if they go up and confront, not only is Cao WeiNing going to be, you know, at risk of injury, but the older couple might also be like, oh, and by the way, she's a ghost. And Cao WeiNing will be like, what? And so Gu Xiang's like afraid on multiple fronts. So she's hesitant at first to do anything. But Cao WeiNing is like, you know, the song Only Fools Rush In. That is Cao WeiNing to a T. He's like, we need to think of an idea. And then he's like, what's the matter? And he's like, no matter how strong the enemy is, I give my life to protect you and Sister XiaoLian. And she tries to be like, well, but she's like, you almost lost your life last time. And he's like, why don't you trust me to, like, you know, if you're afraid, then you stay and I'll go. And she's like, I'm not afraid. She's like, I could be just as competent a fighter as you are. She's like, I'm just afraid of getting discovered. And she also doesn't want him to get hurt. And she's like, you know, how could you treat me this way? You promised you wouldn't, like, disappoint me. And he's like, I'm not. Cao WeiNing has the perfect comeback. Bitch, he has the perfect comeback. He's like, I promised I wouldn't disappoint you. But loyalty must be fulfilled before romantic love. How can I leave my good friend without helping? He is so chivalrous. He is literally a white knight. So chivalrous. He's like, girl, I love you and I'm going to marry you, but our friend is in danger. I'm like, how can you not love him? He's just such a puppy dog. What a golden retriever person. He's like, how will I be worthy of your goodness then? He's like, I wouldn't be worthy of your love if I wasn't a good person. And Gu Xiang's like, well, what do we do about this? So she's like, let's, you know, not rush into this. She's like, I mean, I didn't think we weren't going to not help her. But so she says the idea, she's going to go to the Broken Sword sect and get help. That is not what happens. Instead, she runs into Xin, which I was waiting on Xin. I had every belief that Xin was going to rescue her. But she's like, nope, I'm going to go get the bro. She's like, this silly boy is really a big idiot. She's like, but he's my big idiot and I love him. So she tells him to go sneak up, which telling Cao WeiNing to sneak up on something, girl. And then to wait until she gets back with the cavalry, which, girl, you knew that wasn't going to happen. So yeah. And so meanwhile, we have Huang He confronting the old couple. There was a lot of exposition in this episode, arguably enough. There was a lot of exposition. The one thing that did surprise me is at the very beginning of this, Cao WeiNing says that he thinks that XiaoLian can't escape because her acupuncture points have been blocked. But then she's able to get up off of the cart and run away with Cao WeiNing like it was nothing. Like she could have done that all along. Which, here's the thing. One, the old lady it's one of three things. Either one, the old lady undid the acupuncture when she saw things were going downhill. Two, Cao WeiNing undid it when he found her and it just isn't done in the show or it'll get talked about in the novel whenever. Or three, she was just with them because she knew if she tried to run, if both of them could nearly kill Cao WeiNing, XiaoLian ain't got a chance because they do know martial arts. So she probably was just going along with them because, that's the only option that she thought she had. She was just going to be, she's like, I'm going to be dead weight if that's all y'all are treating me as. But yeah, we even got backstory on the old couple. Crazy talk. So all of us were cheated by that bastard Zhao Jing. So the good news is that XiaoLian now knows what Huang He says in this conversation, so she can relay that to Xin, and we can see from Xin if he, confronts Zhao Jing about it or what he's going to do with this information. It's interesting. But yeah, so he asks XiaoLian if she knows the relationship between Zhao Jing and the Scorpions. And she says that Zhao Jing's going to come to save her. Now, she may still think Zhao Jing is actually helpful, and her and Xin might go back to Zhao Jing, and we'll see how that goes. That might be interesting. But he did say Zhao Jing and the venomous scorpions, so I wonder if Xin's going to be kind of curious about that. I don't know. So they talk about how they've been struggling out in the wilderness since all the stuff at the Heroes Convention went down. And Huang He says, who could have imagined that nobody would have gone after XiaoLian? And I'm like, he just rubs it in her face, and he's pretty awful. He calls her worthless, says he's going to buy her up and sell her to a brothel. Like, he's pretty bad. And then he makes fun of Gu Xiang and insults him. And man, if looks could kill, XiaoLian, at some point when he's insulting Gu Xiang, she glares at him. Oh, she glares at him. And here's the thing. XiaoLian and Chengling are kind of perfect for each other because they're both like such pure beings. They're so pure and kind, and she like asks Xin to spare the old couple, which Chengling would totally do that too. So they're literally made for one another. They're not like, Gu Xiang and Cao WeiNing are like opposites attract, whereas her and Chengling are like two people that are kind of peas in a pod, And then them calling Gu Xiang a devil, and she's like, don't call my dad a devil. Now, when she said that her dad hadn't hurt anybody, I was like, has Gu Xiang not hurt anybody? I mean, that's debatable. Also, Cao WeiNing, least inconspicuous person, where he's just like by a tree, but he looks elegant. So you can see here some of this. I was expecting him to hear about the ghosts in this story that Huang He tells, but he does not. So what do we do with that? In fact, he apparently doesn't hear about Gu Xiang, so we'll see about that too. But we do find out that the Five Lakes Alliance were kind of responsible for the old couple's son, their only child, dying. And that's one major reason why they have such a grudge against the Five Lakes Alliance, because their son died during the battle and the Five Lakes Alliance were kind of responsible. So that all comes out in this. And he's like, well, if nobody is gonna go after XiaoLian and she's not a bartering tool anymore, then let's just kill her. And then Cao WeiNing can't handle that, and he blows his cover, and who's surprised, right? Who is surprised by this? So yeah. So I can't believe that Cao WeiNing asked Huang He to help him kill the old couple. I don't know if that's a translation issue or what, but I was like, what? Like that blew my mind. I was like, excuse me? So apparently that was a thing. I'm like, old man, have you heard that? He wants Huang to join them. Now, they ask if he is XiaoLian's lover. I'm glad that was sorted out, and XiaoLian knows now that Gu Xiang likes him, because I was like, we ain't got time for a love triangle. We ain't got time to be getting in the way of that. No, no, no. Nobody's got time for that. So I'm glad that they just cut the shenanigans and we didn't have to worry about that. But yeah. So they're going to fight. At first, XiaoLian and Cao WeiNing started running away, and I was like, oh, we're going to be good. Then we find out that apparently Huang He was killed off screen. And I'm like, was he really, or did he get away? I don't know. Maybe he was. But just as Cao WeiNing is about to fight the old couple and get hurt again, which he gets pretty much knocked unconscious, then Xin shows up. Now, I love me some Xin. I love me some Shin nowadays. And he's got like, he's gotten this 5 o'clock shadow goatee thing going, which I don't like facial hair, but it works for him. It works for him. And then he has like these little wisps that are like undone. And I want to like just take some hairspray and get some got to be and like hard cut glue that in there. But he looks great. And he's in his chivalrous era too. And basically like comes at the old couple. And I like Gu Xiang shows up as well. And they try to fight him and he basically nearly kills the old man. And then that kind of stops everything. I honestly thought that Cao WeiNing was going to wake up during Gu Xiang's story, like her spiel to the other two. I thought he was going to wake up. I had convinced myself that that was going to happen. But it didn't. I'm surprised. I'm amazed. And so, yeah, I was actually really the two older couple, like Liv Liu and Tao Hong. This was actually probably my favorite episode with them. One of my favorite episodes. They don't look like the Strawberry Shortcake duo anymore in their new robes. But I actually really liked the woman, the old woman. Her acting was my favorite. She was giving it all. Like her facial expressions were on point. She was like in it to win it with this acting. And I felt sympathy for them for losing their son. They had motivation. Like, if this is the last time we see them, they go out on a pretty good note to me because I thought that they were really compelling. I liked them in this episode a lot. And XiaoLian, she decides to be merciful and spare them and convince Shin to let them go. Which, girl, I mean, it's very on brand for her character. I'm amazed that Shin's grown so much in this series. I love how he's not flying off the handle. Also, what a full circle moment. The first time we really saw Shin in action was when we first met this old couple and they were all like interacting with one another. And now it comes full circle. I love it. I think that's so cool that we get all these callbacks and she lets them go. Now, I do agree with Shin to an extent where he's like, because XiaoLian says, well, I mean, they did hold me hostage and they were terrible, but then they were nice. I'm like, girl, do you have Stockholm Syndrome? I like Shin going, but they kidnapped you and held you hostage. Like, I was with Shin on this one, but she's convinced that they could have been worse. And Huang He was telling them what to do. And I'm like, I don't fully agree with it, but I'm glad she's merciful. I'm glad she's offering them like a chance to escape. It's fine. She's like, if I don't take this revenge, I am not a human. If I can't take this revenge alive, I'll take my revenge on Gao Chong as a ghost in death. That's so interesting that she says, if I can't take this revenge, I'm not human. That's so interesting to me because you've got her saying that in this exchange with XiaoLian and Shin. And then you have Wen KeXing, who later on has his monologue about taking revenge. But in Wen KeXing's monologue, he talks about how in taking revenge, he has accepted that in doing so, it's made him a devil or a demon. So it's kind of cool to see her refer to revenge as an act of humanity and Wen KeXing to refer to revenge as an act of becoming a demon. I think that the two juxtaposing is really good. So I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And what they said was true. And I like that she asked Shin to let them go. Again, Shin's like, what the fudge? But he's like, I guess I'm turning over a new leaf and listening to people now. Also, I don't think it hurts that XiaoLian is, since she's Gao Chong's daughter, Shin's a little more apt to listen to her because he's like, fine, whatever, you're his daughter. I guess I'll abide by, he'd want me to listen to his daughter's wishes. Okay. I don't know if I have anything to write on Whiteboard Kun other than what we've changed at the beginning because this episode is pretty straightforward at this point. And so she's like, if they owe us a life, let us return it. I love XiaoLian. She's like, the Five Lakes Alliance owes them a life, so let's give it to them. We owe them the life of their son, so we're going to let them go, and that's going to repay them. It won't be the same, but it is a debt being repaid. Girl, That's awesome. I like that behavior. I like her mindset there. And the old lady gets mad and says, we don't need your pity. And she's like, you kind of do right now. But she's like, I'm repaying. This is how it has to be repaid. And this is how it's going to be. So sorry, it's not, a young life with a young life in exchange. But anyway. So the old couple, they end up leaving. And the best part was that she gives them their staffs back as they walk away. She gave them their staffs back. That was super sweet. XiaoLian, she's such a sweetheart, right? And then they go. What a moment. And she tells them to travel safely. So I guess that's maybe the last time we might see them for a while. I don't know. The old man looked like he was close to dying, so I don't know if we're going to see them in the rest of the story or not, but what a wild storyline to get wrapped up in this episode. So then Gu Xiang has dragged Cao WeiNing over the tree, and she's like, oh, well, And XiaoLian's like, so you guys were traveling together? And so then we have this moment with Shin, where she's like, all right, I'm relieved that they're all safe. Shin looks so damn good in this scene with Gu Xiang and XiaoLian and Cao WeiNing passed out. Shin looks amazing. Why does he look so good? I'm like, I am really here for Shin these last couple episodes. She's like, you can kill me if you'd like. And XiaoLian's like, why would he do that? Why would he want to kill you? And then that's when he's like, where is Wen KeXing? She's like, I already said I don't know. Even if you ask again, I still don't know. So here's the thing. Okay, he knows that she has to be connected to the Ghost Valley because he has seen her with Wen KeXing and Wen KeXing at all of these events. And so now he's like, okay, now that we know Wen KeXing is Ghost Valley chief, she has to be connected to the Ghost Valley because she's so personally connected to him. So Shin's just doing like process of elimination. That's why, even though her name isn't on the posters, that's why he would recognize it. The words of a person facing death are kind, so I'm not lying to you. And she's like, Ao Zhang, what nonsense is this? And I love how she confesses. This whole scene with Gu Xiang gets an amazing monologue. The old lady got an amazing monologue. Wen KeXing gets an amazing monologue. Everybody's monologue in this episode, but it's all really well done. I love this scene where she's like, Sister XiaoLian, consider the fact I've always been good to you and promise to never tell eldest brother Cao that I'm... And she's like, well, tell him what? What are you saying? Now, Shin tells her not to stand next to Gu Xiang because he thinks that she's dangerous, and that was a blow. Because that's like the last... That's what Gu Xiang is afraid of, is people will avoid her because she's a ghost. And XiaoLian's like, I need somebody to explain what's happening in this sense. And again, she's like, if there's a misunderstanding, let's resolve it. Like her and Chengling, they're like, get right to the point. She's a close maid to the chief of the Ghost Valley. And he's like, is Ah Zhang her real name? She's like, well, that's actually real. She's like, no. She's like, I'm not going by any other name. I don't do things with fake names. Amethyst Fiend Gu Xiang here. She's like, why am I, a minor ghost, included in the evil ghost portraits? I certainly have some fame. And so Shin's like, he doesn't answer the question immediately. He just asks why she's apart from Wen KeXing and with, Cao WeiNing instead. And she's like, well, my, boss / brother / dad kind of betrothed me to him. So if I told you, would you believe me? Shin's like, I've seen some pretty crazy things here today, so maybe. I love her putting her hand on his shoulder and through his hair. It says, I don't want to live as a lonely wild ghost anymore. I want to find a path back to the human world and be with him forever. If Cao WeiNing could see her in this way as she is now throughout all of this, if he could see that, I think he would never leave her. I think he would just be on his hands and knees around her all the time to see her this vulnerable and amazing. And he's like, well, why would you ask me for help? She's like, there's nothing to be done. You become like the chicken you marry or the dog you marry. She's like, I want to be with him, so of course I'd mimic him. And then she's like, won't you consider my little kindness? And tell me if I'm in the evil ghost portraits. She's like, I need to know, am I being hunted or not? And then he says, you aren't. Her little, like, smile laugh gets me, like, so hard. She's so happy that they're probably not going to know that she's a ghost. And then she says, if you're going to kill me now. And that way he won't know I've been deceiving him. And XiaoLian's like, why would we kill you? And then, of course, because she has a heart so pure, she begs Xinshin not to kill her. And Xinshin's like, I can't kill anything today. Today is just not the day. And he's like, well, don't be an idiot like me. I've lived half my life, and I can't even tell a human from a ghost. I love that, where he's like, I couldn't tell it from the start, so why does it matter now? And then he takes her and they leave. Okay. And then she's left with him. It was such a good scene. I love that scene so much. And her wiping her tears away. I kept wondering if he heard what she was saying to them, but apparently not. So we're going to save the angst of that moment for later, obviously. So then Chengling finds his little tool to train and all these weights and everything. Look at him. Just ready to go. He's just so precocious. And Wen KeXing's like, look at him. So now here's the thing. Did Zhou Zishu say that he wasn't going to train Chengling because he's starting to lose his powers? So he's having Wen KeXing do it? Is that the reasoning why? Whatever the reason, they argue back and forth for a little bit, and then they decide that they need to go visit, Master Chen to say their respects at their grave, which they do also say that Chengling is not an outsider, and I was like, or that Wen KeXing's not an outsider. I'm like, no, he's practically going to marry Zhou Zishu, so no, absolutely not. He's not an outsider at all, But they end up going to the grave. Now, the grave scene is so good. I loved the grave scene. And Chengling twice, asks why, he says something that makes Wen KeXing kind of sad for a moment. He's like, I'm sure that since Wen KeXing's back, his master would be very happy, right? And Wen KeXing starts to interrupt him, and Zhou Zishu immediately sees that Wen KeXing is uncomfortable because Chengling keeps saying, well, the souls don't die and they can see you from heaven. If you've been doing something bad, or you've been doing something that you think would warrant disappointment from those people, the last thing you want to hear is that they've been watching you this whole time. Because Wen KeXing's like, I've been doing some really scary shit, and I really don't want my parents to know that I'm doing it. So thanks, Chengling. And Zhou Zishu, luckily, he can kind of read the room, whereas Chengling cannot. And he knows when to stop Chengling and when to, ease the conversation into something else. Zhou Zishu's really come into his own these last several episodes, and I'm here for it. I'm surprised the grave is in the middle of this field. I guess there are other graves in the field. It felt very untamed, but I do like that they have the food brought out and they have the two graves there. I'm assuming that's Chin and his wife, I'm assuming. Right? I wanted to see what they said. If they would cut to those. But yeah. To Grandmaster and Young Junior Master above. I guess maybe that is Chin and the son. And Zhu. Zhu Chao, maybe. The best friend. I guess that would sound right because Zhou Zishu buried them. So I guess that would work. But yeah. Chengling is too precious. He just sits there and talks about them. And of course, it's like secondhand embarrassment for Zhou Zishu and for Wen KeXing. And Wen KeXing obviously is getting uncomfortable because he feels guilty for being there. And Zhou Zishu's like, Chengling, quit talking. But Chengling, it just reminded me of the scene of Forrest Gump where Forrest Gump goes to, I'm not going to spoil Forrest Gump to you, but he goes to a cemetery. He talks to a grave. And he spills his guts. And that very much felt like what Chengling is doing in this scene. And it was very sweet. And I like that Zhou Zishu's like, instead of saying all your prayers and stuff out loud, you should say them silently. Huh? And then Chengling's there for like 10 extra minutes, like having a full-blown mental conversation with them. I love it. It's adorable. It's so cute. But yeah, Wen KeXing is very nervous about others seeing him from beyond the grave. So Zhou Zishu the whole time having a concerned look at Wen KeXing. Just slay me now. Their expressions back and forth. And he's like, you guys go on ahead. I'm going to have a monologue that's going to be amazing, and then I'll get back with you. And they're like, okay. So yeah, they go off, and Wen KeXing has this amazing monologue where he talks about how he feels like he brings the wine out, sets a little cup there, cleans off the grave, and has to drink some liquid courage and saying, if this world has an underworld, he's like, you guys are going to be in heaven, so forgive me. He's like, but I'm probably going to be in hell because I'm going to make these people pay for what they've done. He's like, if Master Chin, if you're in heaven, have you seen my parents? He's like, I wish for the dead to have souls, yet I'm afraid that you can actually see. I'm afraid you will see the way in which I got here. I love it, and despise me for dirtying the Four Seasons Mountain Villa's honor. And so he talks about how in the beginning, when he couldn't endure it any longer, he would pretend that the person suffering wasn't himself, but just a nightmare. And when he woke up, he would be in that little family garden. But he's like, I know that that's not the case. But later I realized that I wasn't trapped in a nightmare. It was me who dreamed a beautiful dream as Jinyan. There was no path to heaven and no revenge for the good and bad. And if that's so, I'd rather become an evil devil and regain my own justice from the heavens. I love it. He's like, if nobody's going to help me and there's no redemption, then I'm just going to carve my way through hell to get my revenge and get my own sense of justice. And 20 years, it wasn't blood that flowed. That line, for 20 years, it wasn't blood that flowed through my veins. It was hatred. That line is so good. And that aptly describes Wen KeXing's entire MO in this. Only the wish for revenge supported me as I crawled back up from hell. As I became chief of the devils and king of the ghosts. I was like envisioning Hua Chong the entire time I was saying this. I mean, the red fits too, right? And then, damn, he says he's like, and that 20 years later, I can make reality to each and every one of Jinyan's curses. Because he's like, I wanted to kill all the ghosts. And he's like, that's what I'm doing right now. But he's like, after killing them, the hate in my heart did not fade. Which is one of the biggest lessons, I think, of any story, is that people think that getting revenge is going to give them solace. And getting revenge is going to solve their problems. But like Wen KeXing says, he went to try to get revenge and it did nothing. He ended up just in the same boat. And it's like, yeah. So he's like, I still ended up with the same hatred. Everyone who turned their backs on us and betrayed us and threatened us, they are covered in my parents' blood, and all of them are devils in human skin. And so he shows why he believes he's, why he's been this way and why he's viewed everyone as, killable and offered up for his anger and hatred. He's like, when I left the valley, I promised myself I would burn down this hypocritical martial arts world and force all the devils into the underworld. And then for him to say, if this is a sin, I'll face the burning mountains, blood oceans, and all the unforgivable evils alone. He says all this, but at the same time, it's like, does he still have the same conviction for all of this as he did before? Is he still wanting this revenge that badly? Or is this what he had originally wanted when he left? If you want me to die, then I'm willing to burn with them in hell. And he's like, but that was the original conviction. But then the thing is, he says there, he goes, how could, he's like, you've already thrown me into hell. Why give me a path back to the human world? He's like, if everything was so horrible and there was no coming back, why would you give me this shining light, this beacon at the last minute? Why would you give me Zhou Zishu to be something to lean on as a hope? Why would you do that for me? Oh. Gong Xiang can just cry a river and I will accept it every time. He can give me all of his tears and I will lap them up. How dare he? How dare he be perfect? How dare he? Yeah. I like he throws like the wine bottle away. After he gets up, he like pours it out, bows 3 times. And he says, Wen KeXing's life is ruined. I don't deserve the right to call you master. If there's a next life, I'll pay my debt of gratitude. And if there is no next life, even if I fall into hell forever, then I thank you for giving me a brief light. What a monologue. I was like, But I don't want you to have to worry about that, Wen KeXing. So then we round out the episode. I'm sorry, but the fact of Gu Xiang heating up these 2 buns as Cao WeiNing is like passed out is the funniest damn thing. That is so funny to me. He just passed out and she's like, he'll wake up eventually and have this. Or 2 rolls for me. But yeah, she's definitely like, in her conversation, she's like, but what if we aren't compatible? What if she keeps on, she's so convinced that he's going to leave her. She's trying to cut to the chase and be like, you're going to leave me when you find this out about me, that I'm a ghost. And she just can't bring herself to tell him. And she explains where XiaoLian is. And she kind of tells a lie. She kind of says that she went off with the Broken Sword sect, which is not true. But, you know, I wonder who was saying that I'm scared of death. And Cao WeiNing, he's so confused about what she says sometimes, and she just needs to come forward and be honest with him, and then he won't be confused, because she sends a lot of mixed signals. But I understand why she's saying it. And him grabbing her hand is so sweet. I thought he was going to kiss her. I legit thought he was going to kiss her for a hot second when he grabbed her hand. But then you remember that he is Mr. Chivalrous White Knight. He ain't even hugged her yet, so we can't be jumping the gun too soon. And she's like, do you think we're incompatible? And he's like, well, there's nothing, it has nothing to do with you. He's like, my martial arts aren't just good enough. And he's like, when I get back, I'll train some more so I can protect you. Again, I do believe that Gu Xiang is strong enough to protect herself, but in the same vein, I get that he wants to be strong enough to protect her as well. And that's just, part of his esteem. I can see that. And then he's like, well, my master, he'll be fine. He thinks girls are great. And he views them as treasures, and you'll be perfectly fine with him. And he's like, if I knew that he had bullied you, if he knew that I had bullied you, he would definitely break my legs. Aw. And so then she keeps trying to say, like, but what if this isn't going to work out? And he's like, well, then I'll kill myself. Essentially is what he says. He's like, I can't live without you. And she's like, aw. She's like, you would do that for me? Okay. He says, but before I die, I want some food. I'm about to die of starvation. What a sweetheart. I cannot be mad at Cao WeiNing. I think that Gu Xiang is so worried that he's going to leave her. And I'm like, my dude. I'm like, when he finds out that you're a ghost, it's going to be okay. So we'll just see where that goes, though. I don't know. This episode was all about like our characters coming face to face with their fears, their trepidations, and one side of the lovers couple is ready to go, ready to ride or die, and the other one's just got to get on board. So we'll see where we go to from here, but I'm super excited for episode 26. I'm ready to go. I'm going to look at some comments next week, but I'm so excited to see what all we get. So I thank you all so much to those of you who have commented and watched the videos. I'm excited to hear your thoughts down below, but I'm all excited. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more Word of Honor.